Ever felt like your mind is racing while the world stands still? You're not alone. ADHD, or Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, affects millions of people, making even the simplest tasks feel like climbing a mountain. From constantly losing your keys to struggling to stay focused, ADHD can make daily life pretty challenging. Let's dive into what ADHD really means and how it impacts our lives, especially when it comes to procrastination. So, what exactly is ADHD? In simple terms, it's when your brain has trouble paying attention or sitting still, especially when things aren't stimulating enough. Imagine you're trying to focus on a boring task, but your mind keeps drifting off to something more exciting. That's what it's like for people with ADHD almost all the time. It's not just about being fidgety or easily distracted, it's like your brain gets stuck, making it hard to think clearly or get things done. People with ADHD often lose things, forget things, or struggle with routines. This can make us appear unreliable or like we don't care, but the truth is we care a lot. It's just that controlling our behavior can be really tough, and this often leads to anxiety and feeling alone. Procrastination is a common struggle for everyone, but when you have ADHD, it's a whole different ballgame. ADHD is a brain disorder that affects attention, concentration, impulsivity, and distractibility. Even if you don't have all of these symptoms at once, just dealing with a few of them can make it really hard to get started on tasks or follow through. One big reason for this is something called impaired motivation. This isn't talked about as much, but it's a huge issue. With ADHD, the brain has a problem with the dopamine reward pathway. Dopamine is like a little cheerleader in your brain that makes you feel good when you achieve something. But for people with ADHD, this system doesn't work properly. It's like there's a traffic jam in your brain's reward pathway, making it hard to feel motivated. There are two important dopamine pathways to know about: mesolimbic pathway. This pathway is all about emotional memory and pleasure. When you do something enjoyable, this part of your brain lights up, teaching you that the activity brings pleasure. But if your dopamine system is off, you don't get that rewarding feeling from completing tasks. Mesocortical pathway. This one is responsible for motivation and executive functions like thinking and decision-making. With ADHD, there's a shortage of dopamine transport proteins here, so your brain doesn't get the signals it needs to reinforce positive behavior. Because of this, tasks that should feel satisfying just don't, and it makes motivation really tricky. You might think, why can't I just do this? Even simple tasks can feel like trying to move a mountain. Now, medication can help with this dopamine issue. Stimulants like Adderall, Ritalin, and Vyvanse work to boost dopamine in the brain, making it easier to focus and get things done. But here's the thing, they don't work forever. The effect only lasts as long as the medication is in your system, and even then, you might still struggle with motivation. There are also non-stimulant medications like Strattera and the newer Qelbree, which show promise, especially for those dealing with executive dysfunction, things like planning, organizing, and time management. These medications work differently from stimulants by increasing norepinephrine in the brain, which can also boost dopamine and serotonin levels. But they take longer to work, sometimes up to a month, and need to be taken daily. Why do we work better under pressure? People with ADHD often say they do their best work right before a deadline. Why? It's all about creating urgency. ADHD brains are motivated by four main factors: interest, urgency, challenge, and novelty. If a task doesn't hit at least one of these buttons, it's hard to get started. The pressure of a looming deadline creates that urgency, giving your brain the push it needs to get going. But working last minute isn't always the best strategy. It can be stressful and doesn't leave room for errors or unexpected problems, especially if you need input from others. Instead, you can try to create urgency in other ways, like using a timer while you work. Tips to tackle procrastination. Here are some actionable tips to help boost motivation and beat procrastination with ADHD. Use timers to create urgency. Set a timer for 25 minutes and challenge yourself to see how much you can get done before it goes off. Turning your task into a game makes it more interesting and helps you focus. Body doubling. Work alongside someone else, either in person or virtually. Having someone there can help you stay on task. There are also body doubling videos online for studying or cleaning if you don't have someone nearby. Change your environment. If you're stuck on a task, try doing it somewhere new. If you need to write a paper, maybe sitting in a coffee shop or a different room can make the process more engaging. The Pomodoro technique. This is a time management system where you work for 25 minutes, then take a 5-minute break. After 4 cycles, take a longer break. It helps keep your mind engaged without feeling overwhelmed. break tasks into smaller steps. If a task feels too big, break it into smaller, more manageable steps. This can make it less intimidating and easier to get started. Final thoughts. Dealing with ADHD is tough, but understanding how your brain works can help you find strategies that make life a little easier. Remember, it's not about trying harder. It's about working with your brain, not against it. If you think you might have ADHD and it's affecting your life, consider reaching out for help. There are therapists and resources that can offer support and guidance. And remember, you're not alone in this journey. Got any tips or questions about ADHD? Drop them in the comments. I'd love to hear what works for you. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe for more insights on ADHD and mental health. And check out my health awareness and alerts playlist for more insights on how your health journey can be improved. Thanks for watching and see you next time.